Okay, so I've been fighting making this video all day. All day. I've outright said no a couple times. So anyway, the eclipse is coming. And I need to get my iPad out for this. The eclipse is coming, and there's a couple things I need to look up while I'm doing this video. Yeah, if you see me talking to myself, it's just I work with spirit, so I'm probably having a staff meeting. And this eclipse, there's something I need to look up before I like really start talking. So this eclipse is in this, no, it's in the time of Jonas. I think it's the time. Okay, so when Jonas means gift from God. Now, if in fact there are 3 days of darkness, which I'm being told there will be, it's going to be, we're going to remember who we are. There will be a mass awakening. Now, there will be a lot of resistance. A lot. We will see some horrible shit. It's just going to happen. I mean, it's really not up to me. It's really up to the people of this earth. And unfortunately, most of them are very unhealed and they're operating in fear. So, yeah, we're probably going to see some gnarly shit. At the same time, it's nothing to be afraid of. And I genuinely mean that. And I know people have children and all kinds of things. I know. The best thing I could tell you to do, start now. Start healing now. Because this is indeed, if you want to put it in biblical terms, it's a time of repentance, aka healing. Let's see. Oh, for God's sake, though. Really? Okay, this is gonna fight me. Okay. Oh, that's a person's name. Okay. So we're going to remember, I guess I'm not supposed to talk on this. So we'll remember who we are. That's the most, like, basic way of putting it. I'm not sure how else I could put it, like, more simply than that. This is just really pissing me off right now. It's going to be weird. There's going to be some things about it that are going to be, pretty horrible. And I think there's going to be a lot of play on it as far as, like, you know, this is the end of the world kind of stuff. And it will be the end of the world in a lot of ways, but not in I don't think in the horrible ways that we're told that it will be. You know, that we've been told, like, you know, biblically and, you know, different things. I mean, I hesitate to say that. I think it's going to be, well, it's not I think. I'm being told it's going to be, it's going to be what it's going to be. It really depends on the people of this planet, not the angels. There was something I was going to look up and it's just, like, not coming up. The best thing you could do, that you can do, is start healing. The best way to do that, and I'm not talking about meditation necessarily, but get in touch with your breath. You might say, well, you're smoking. Yeah, well, I mean, I do a lot of breath work. But it's very much the best way to move through the resistance and the fear of it all is going to be to breathe through it. And I know how, like, I know how useless that may sound right now. And I certainly know how useless it may sound in the moment of like some shit hitting the fan. I get it. I just don't know any other way. I'm being told there isn't any other way. My mother told me something very important. I used to have these horrible panic attacks. Oh my God. Like I thought I was, I mean, I didn't think I was going to die, but I wished, you know, like in the moment I was wishing that it would just stop, that everything would just stop. And, it wasn't a wishing I would die, but just like, I just needed things to stop. And in that time, my mother, I remember I was sitting on my bed in my apartment with my mom. And, my mom told me something very important. She said, Rebecca, all you have to do is breathe. And I thought, you know, I know how that sounds, but in the moment, it made all the sense in the world, and everything in me just stopped. Everything just stopped, and I just was breathing. I just breathed through it. And it was, you know, it took me many more years to start understanding like how powerful that really was and how to use it. I mean, of course you'd think, you know, just breathe, but like, excuse me, it was a tool that I was given, but I didn't know how to use. Now our breath powers the earth, and I mean, the energy of our breath powers the earth, and vice versa. The earth breathes, so to speak. Plants breathe, and and it brings life back into us. And this is a kind of like rebirth that we go through all the time, but it's a symbiotic relationship we have with the earth and with everything around us. The people, the plants, the animals, the rocks, the trees, everything. And then furthermore, there's an energetic exchange between what we would consider like inanimate objects, like my car, for instance. My car is like an inanimate object. However, it has its own energy. Not just my energy, but and not just the energy of the people who've owned it. It has an energy to it. So, you know, it goes down to, you know, it goes down to things that you would think that may not have a spirit, so to speak. But, excuse me. Today I was given the message, the world's gonna end. You need to tell people. And I was like, yeah, I'm not telling people that though. I'm not doing it, even if it were true. Is that helpful? Is that helpful? Like, what would people do about that? Do with that knowledge? You know what I mean? Like, what? And to tell people, like, oh, the world, the end is nigh, kind of thing. It sounds very fear-based when you say it, you know? But, like, my lips are squeaking. But it's not a fearful thing at all. Now, will there be fearful things that happen? Yes. But overall, is that what the purpose of it? No. It's not. You know, like when you... Well, that's a bad example. Anyone who's ever had a pet who, like, needed their nails, their claws trimmed, or needed, you know, something like that. You know, there's always, like, that resistance. You're doing it for the best of that animal or that creature. And, you know, there's some coercion to it because you have to, you know, tell them, oh, it's okay, you know, and still they're going to fight you on it. You know, they're going to fight you on it. Sorry for the noise. They're going to fight you on it. But there's that moment of surrender, you know, that time of surrender. And that's the important key that I'm talking about with the breath. We have to learn. Well, I mean, if you want to be like, if you want to get through it and come out the other end, breathe through it. And the more you surrender, the less you resist. Because some of us may indeed be in terrifying situations. However, it's going to be okay. I don't know how I can say that. Like, you know, it seems so detached for me to say it like that. When people's lives are indeed on the line. But it's essential to breathe through it. The surrender through it is very important. And I mean surrender to, I mean surrender to the change, not to necessarily the things that are going on around us. There's been a lot of work done for a long time to bring this freedom about on the planet Earth. And there's been a lot of resistance, a lot. We've been dealing with everything from angels and demons to, principalities to all kinds of shit. One of the things that I was talking about earlier, well, I was on a different video and I actually just erased that one. I didn't upload it. But one of the things I was talking about, excuse me, I really appreciate the Bible because it's like a spiritual encyclopedia. It's got so many things in it that you need to know. And it requires a lot of discernment, a lot, in order to know how to interpret those things. And I mean, they've been interpreted before. To interpret them without the religious spirit is what I'm talking about, without that religious entity that really oppresses and suppresses the truth. And it's not that, because God is the truth 100%. God doesn't lie to us. Nor is God the author of confusion. However, I can't tell you how many times I had heard, people, we're creating God's image, etc., etc. And I think I read that first, that passage of the Bible many times. But the Bible clearly states in just about every version you can get your hands on, including the Hebrew Bible that I have. It says, let us make man in our image. That denotes plurality both times, in the first and second part of that sentence. And so, and then, there are other things about the Bible, like God created God, which is a plural. God is not one. I mean, I know there's one Most High God. Yes, I understand that. However, the Elohim are plural creatures. They're plural. So, when we're talking about God, we're really talking about a polytheistic situation here. And look, I have been Christian my whole life. So I know 100% how that sounds, how it feels. At first, you want to fight it and you want to think, oh, well, that's just not true. Or, maybe you're just not giving all praise to the Most High, etc., etc. And that's just not true. That's just not the truth. The truth is the truth. And the truth is, if you believe in the Bible, and there's a lot of things in the Bible that are essentially wrong. I mean, Christ did sacrifice himself, but not for the reasons, not exactly for the reasons that we were told. Christ was a great magician. And I mean that 100%. Christ was God's magician. And he was sacrificed because he wanted to bring the knowledge of God's magic, or God's Holy Spirit to us, to everybody, not just to the 1% or to the elite, the elites, which is, and there's nothing wrong with being elite, so to speak, especially when you've worked for it. I understand that. However, to keep other people oppressed, is frustratingly dumb. It's a self-perpetuating cycle that just never ends and brings about a whole lot of suffering and unnecessary death. That's what I'm getting from, it's from Spirit. So, and it's kept the world subjugated for so long, and the people of the earth subjugated for so long, and kept us from ascending. And so we've been caught in the cycle of death. This is what makes this a prison planet. This is what makes the Matrix a Matrix, is because we're kept in this cyclical loop by our own beliefs. Whoa, that's a fucking 1:44 on the clock when I said that. So, or 11:44, or 14:44 on the clock when I said that, sorry. Pardon me. This is what keeps us in this loop, is our own beliefs. Wow, that's trippy. So, knowing that, and knowing that, you know, the only freedom is through breath and through surrender. That's, you know, I know what a tall order that can be. I totally get that. At the same time, I'm totally serious when I say there's really no other way. There's no other way to do it. Excuse me, that's going to be, like, useful for people. It's just not. It's just not. I mean, I've thought of many other things, but that's what I'm getting, and that's also the message that I'm getting. Both. Like, that's my intuition as well as the message that I'm getting. I know exactly how impossible it can seem to go through, you know, huge upheavals and to be like, breathe through it. Yeah. Right. So, you know, we all know how difficult that can be, but I really encourage anyone who's looking for any kind of, you know, suggestions for this upcoming time. And, like, times are crazy. Like, I mean, even if I said the world was going to end, I mean, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? I mean, it's not like it's some great revelation on my part, I don't think. Because, I mean, look around. You know, that shit is crazy everywhere, like, with a capital C. So, well, the wind is really rocking the car right now. Oh, yes, she does. So, yeah, breathe through it. Because sometimes all you have to do is breathe, just like my mother told me all those years ago. And I know how it sounds. I know how that feels. I know how it can feel really helpless and useless at times. You're like, I am breathing. It's not that. It's the controlled breathing. And I'm not even talking about meditation or any other practice other than just breathing. Because breath gives us life. Breath is a gift. And we don't treat it like that is a thing. So, anyhow, but this eclipse is going to be a big deal. A big deal. And I mean, it's biblical. It's in, you know, it's a lot of different things, and it's, you know, it's gotten to the point where it'd be hard, you know, for anybody to deny that that's what's going on now. I mean, the Bible's very literal in a lot of ways. I mean, it's actually pretty fucking literal. I mean, it can be both very metaphorical but very literal at the same time. And I know what the Bible says about, you know, why when I turn the camera on, my love? Why? Stop, my love. And I know that. What is it, boo? What is it? Oh, you're so cute. You're a cute little boo butt. Super cutest. Love you so much, my noodle. My noodle duck. Oh, do you have to do the Pipis Popus? Yeah? Okay. I'm gonna take her out to do the Pipis Popus. And, go on now, please. Get him back just a minute. And, yeah, just connect with your breath. You know, whatever that means for you. You know, I want to not put, like, stumbling blocks for, you know, for people. Because people find enough reasons to stumble, is the truth. I know I have. And, you know, in the past I really have. So, love, blessings, and compassion, everyone. We're going to remember what we are. We're going to remember, like, there's going to be a mass remembrance. And it's a taking of pieces and putting them back into wholeness. Like holiness. I mean, it's the same. I know it's a play on words, but it's the same thing. And it's going to be really beautiful in its totality. I don't know in all its parts that it will be a beautiful thing, but it will be in its totality. So trust the Lord, trust God, trust your angels, trust your ancestors, trust your spirit guides, you know, all of those that are in alignment. Stop. All of those that are in alignment with the light. Yeah. Love, blessings, compassion. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.